Your biggest fear just came true. The relationship that you tried to strengthen for so long has now crumbled. You may be feeling anxious and you may even be feeling confused. And you're asking yourself, what does the first 72 hours of my life is gonna look like? And now, just because the relationship is over, I want you to know, and I want to encourage you today, that just because it's over, that doesn't mean life is over itself, because there is life after heartbreak. And now, since everything is fresh and new, I want you to understand that everything that you're feeling is very, very normal. Because the feelings that you're feeling now is the exact way that I felt when my divorce got finalized back in 2022. In fact, the very first thing that I did after I got off my virtual court hearing when my divorce was finalized was I went to sleep. All I wanted to do was just shut off and be closed off from the world for a temporary moment in time, and I didn't even want to feel. And I wanted to just truly escape that situation and run from it because I didn't want to process and really mull over what was happening and what was going on in my life, because this was like a culture shock to me. And so now the first 24 hours, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just take a moment and to sit with yourself and allow yourself to feel. It doesn't matter the emotion. Just allow yourself to be present and allow yourself to show up for yourself in that moment. And now the reason for this is because something such as a divorce or a heartbreak can trigger heightened emotional responses and can trigger or induce what I like to call the fight or flight response. And so the wrong thing to do in this situation is to take flight and run from what you feel instead of leaning into what you feel. Because if not, what you can do is find yourself retreating within yourself, causing an adverse reaction. And that's what we don't want, because it's really going to hinder your growth process in the long run, because what we're trying to do is grow, heal, and learn from the situation that we're in. Look, I can bet at some point in your journey in life that you've struggled with knowing just who you are. You felt alone, you felt lonely, and you felt like you had no sense of direction. And that's exactly how I felt. And sometimes that even holds true after you get out of a bad breakup or while you're currently in a relationship. I know that was one of my biggest struggles of navigating the terrain of a relationship and a breakup. But through my experiences, through my healing, through my own journey, I've come up with a solution that I believe today is going to take you to the next level. The Power of You ebook is an ebook that I've created that will help men just like you to uncover the layers of obscurity in your life, to identify and pinpoint just who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're headed. So check this out. I put down the link in the description below. And if you're tired, if you're struggling, if you're not quite sure just who you are, it's time to get your power back. It's time. It's time for you to go to the next level. It's time for you to understand just how valuable you are and the gifts and the talents that you bring to this world. So don't wait. Don't delay. Your future self will thank you. So order yours today. You don't want to wait. You don't want to delay. If you felt alone, if you felt lonely, if you felt like an outcast, or just had questions about just who you are, this is the solution to the problem that you've been searching for weeks, for months, and for years. So order yours today, because it's time to take back your power. And so now the second thing I want you to do, this is very important, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but I need you to not have any contact with your previous partner. And I know it may be tough because everything is fresh and everything is new, but this is very, very important for you not to do so. And I say this because what's happening is that you are in a very vulnerable yet open emotional state right now. And the last thing that you want to do is be in contact with the very person that is causing this adverse reactions and experiences that you're going through right now. And what this is going to do is cause even more confusion about what life is going to look like after the heartbreak or after the divorce. Getting over a heartbreak, a divorce, or any long-term relationship that didn't go well or end well, it's a process. And the choices that you make and the things that you decide to do, It's going to dictate whether this process is going to make you into something that you never thought you can be, which is the greatest version of yourself, or it's going to break you and now you're going to become a worse version of who you already are. Now, moving right along, the next thing that I want you to do is find someone that you truly trust. And I mean absolutely trust with your life, to reach out to them and see if you can lean on them for some emotional support. Because the last thing that you want to do is completely isolate yourself in what you're feeling right now, at least for right now. Because yes, the goal is to eventually be able to self-reflect, take accountability, and grow and learn from your actions. But right now, this is a very vulnerable and crucial time, and you do not want to be alone. As a matter of fact, you want to have a good balance between getting rest. I know when I was going through my healing journey from my divorce, a key crucial part and why I become the man I am today is because I had a solid emotional support system that I knew, that I trusted, that I believed that I could lean on in that hard moment of my life. Now, the 48 and 72 hour window is very critical and is very crucial for your healing process. And at this stage, what I want you to do is refrain yourself from looking at old text messages, old pictures, watching old TV shows, or anything of that sort that reminds you of the person that you were with. And so what I want you to do now is start deleting that stuff. All of the old text messages, all of the old pictures, all of the old memories that remind you of that person. And even refrain from even watching those shows that remind you of that person as well. And now this may sound funny, but the reason why is because the first 72 hours is the very, very critical time and moment in your healing process. And what you're doing is you're establishing and laying a foundation of what your healing journey is going to look like. Because if you lay the wrong foundation in the first 72 hours, it's going to be very hard for you to heal, grow, and learn from your mistakes. And it's going to be very hard for you to move on. And now by doing this, what you're doing is you're training your mind and your heart and your emotions to begin to be released and let go from that person and that situation and that relationship that you was in. Now, it's not to say that you're not going to ever have an urge to want to reach out or to want to talk or to want to make things right or to want to keep that person around. But it's important that you set yourself up for success as much as possible by not leaving doors open or leaving things connected to that person that is easily accessible to you right now because you're in such a vulnerable and emotional state. And by doing this, this helps to alleviate any possibility of you backtracking and going back to what didn't work and going back to the old situation and going back to a relationship that was not healthy for you. And the longer you hold on to your past, it's going to be very hard for you to prepare for your future. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, you may be telling yourself, I need more help, I need more guidance, I need a little bit more mentorship or coaching beyond this video. Here's what I want you to do. Click the link in the description box below and schedule your free 30-minute strategy session with me today. And let's see if we're a good fit and see how I can take you from grief to greatness. And now that you're in a stage where you're moving beyond the breakup, it's time to reclaim your identity and get your power back. And now if you want to know who you are beyond the breakup, click this video here and I'll see you over there.